are you doing? What are you doing? You're not Daddy Cornstar.
Welcome back, everybody. Somebody ran over my shovel. They must have, because I see it's cracked there too. Here, girl, come here. Come here. Oh, he'd rather get the cameraman.
What are the top 5 skills you think people need to be a successful farmer?
Number 1, common sense. You gotta have some common sense on what's going on around you and what you're doing.
Oh, so like when you're hitting something with a hammer, always look at what you're hitting.
I never do half the time. Like, hey, we're gonna go out and plant today, but the ground is too wet. Common sense tells you stay out of the field. Sometimes you gotta use your own common sense of things you've learned in the past. You are a beast.
So if somebody doesn't have any common sense, how can they gain common sense?
By learning by their neighbors and friends. And that's how we learn. Sometimes by making mistakes. And there's nothing wrong with that. My second advice, me and my dad, I mean, honestly, we never argued to each other. I couldn't ask for it. But one time, I remember we were off digging a grave. We had our grave digger, and I was pulling behind the truck, and we were in like a blizzard, and it was just miserable out. We fought the grave. The cemetery was horrible. It was cold. We were coming back. We were coming to my driveway, and I got stuck. And I was getting mad, yanking the truck forward, backwards, trying to get it up through the drift, and I had the grave digger behind me. And my dad told me, he says, we need to get a tractor or something to dig it out. And I was getting mad, and pretty soon he opened up the door and he took off. And I like trying to call him on a cell phone, and finally I got hold of him. I said, where are you going? He goes, you were getting mad, and before I snapped back at you and you snapped at me, I'm going home. Talk to you tomorrow. I tell you what, I felt that big all night. I had to dig myself out and stuff. So you don't want them things to haunt you forever.
Bonus advice?
You're the bonus.
You gotta be able to fix stuff. For sure.
And that's why you're not a farmer.
Yeah, I can fix stuff.
You already stumped?
Yeah. We got so many things tore apart right now, you don't know where to begin, where to stop,
No. Your top 5 farming skills.
Oh.
Number 3.
Oh, we're only number 3? Well, you need to know what you're watching for with your piece of equipment, because if you're going along and something's tore up and you don't recognize it, you can cause a lot of damage on a piece of equipment. So yeah, your ability to be able to look at equipment, your mechanic skills, I think it's really important to have a lot of good mechanic skills, but that isn't a breaker. You know, years ago, I don't know how we did it. We did a lot of the work outside, and you know, wintertime we were trying to get equipment ready and we worked outside. We didn't have very big sheds, or if we did have a big machine shed, it wasn't heated, and it was colder inside than it was outside. And now a lot of shops are heated and stuff, and makes it a lot nicer. But like now, you got the plasma cutter. Very, very handy. Does every farm need a plasma cutter? Probably not, but as you get to use it, very handy.
Have you ever used our plasma cutter before?
I have not used a plasma cutter. Torch. This torch is ancient, but I almost think every farm needs a torch. I don't know how we'd get along without a torch. Something needs heated up, something needs cut. The torch is very important. I guess now the plasma cutter's probably taken over the torch. Wire welder. It's kind of a very, very important thing too.
How many times have you used the wire welder?
I think I've only used it once. Drill press. I think probably every shop needs a drill press. You're always grabbing wrenches, working on something. It just seems like the wrenches are a must. 9/16, ½ inch, 3/4 inch, and 1/8 is probably the most common wrenches that we use. You know, when I was younger, Cole, we didn't have power tools that battery operated and stuff. Everything was hand wrenches. And I know that Cole and Cooper give me crap all the time. I'm working on something. They're like, why don't you use the air gun, or why don't you? I kind of grew up using the wrenches. 36-inch pipe wrench, so you guys see me using it on the bin set up quite a few different times when things broke and we had to. But anyhow, this is 36-inch pipe wrenches. We use that a lot. Sometimes it seems like.
Need your honest opinion on metric wrenches.
I hate them.
So what about the skills that you would need from, let's say, a business perspective, financial, and to actually run the numbers behind the farm? What skills would you need in that area?
Math is pretty important, but the good thing there, if math isn't your best skill and stuff, we are really, really lucky, and I use it all the time. Calculator. And like I said, you don't have to be a pro at it. You just got to be able to figure things out. There's so many tools we can use nowadays to be able to calculate what we're trying to figure out and stuff. So it's not like it's got to be...
If you had to guess your math grade level, what grade are you as a mather?
Well, there's no doubt, a genius. Math was always kind of hard on, you know, I just can't sit there and go through...
What'd you say, like 3rd grade?
Sometimes you look at the neighbor's kids and you're thinking, why don't I have kids like theirs? Number 5, people skills. Very, very important. I like to joke around a little bit with everybody, or treat them with respect, have a little fun with them. I know when your kids were little, you're always amazed. We call people that we work with, and they're like, how did they know it was you, Dad? Well, when you talk to them and stuff, they remember your voices and stuff. But
okay, act like you're calling the grocery store right now. How would this phone call go from the hello? Hold on a second. My phone is ringing. It's the grocery store.
Hello, this is your President of the United States of America. What is your special today?
You give everybody a nickname too.
Somehow we got a little nickname or a little joking name. Or...
Okay, we got off topic. Back to people skills.
Yeah, people skills is huge and stuff, but the number one I think is most important with any job, anything you're going to do, is determination. I am going to do this. I am going to do this, and I'm going to make it work. Without that skill, you're going to have people, I don't care what you're starting or where you're going to go, they're going to be, oh, that ain't going to work. Oh, that ain't going to be working. Or, you know, I know somebody that tried that, it didn't work. Do not listen to that. If it's something you want to do, you go out there and make it work and show. And if something happens and it don't work eventually or whatever, who cares? You gave it your best shot, you move to the next thing. Would you rather say you tried and you gave it your all than wish down the road, why did I not do that? I don't know if I answered that good or not.
No, it's good.
Just standing here, this is probably a stupid story. I'm kind of a sidewinder. These 2 tractors sitting here right now, kind of tore apart a little bit, but when Cole was a little boy and started to come out in the field, I don't remember how old you were when you were driving the grain cart.
I think I was 8.
Probably 7, 8 years old, and I guess we had the red one first. Well, then Cooper got big enough and wanted to start running it, and they'd sit there and argue who was going to...
I'm going to run the tractor today. No, I'm going to run the tractor today.
So, you know, trying to get that figured out. One day my dad says, we'll just go out and buy another tractor and another grain cart. Well, both grain carts were the same cart. And them are the 2 little green ones that we still have. Well, we went to an auction and we were going to buy another tractor like this one. Well, when we got there, they both were beauties. And this tractor was actually sitting beside the red one. Well, the Case tractor brought more than we wanted to give. Well, then the John Deere sold and we ended up bringing this one home. Well, then the boys had to like, oh, that one's got a better radio than the other one. So we let them change radios, and we just kind of said, boys, you're going to have to figure out who's going to drive what tractor. And that's kind of the story how we ended up with these 2 tractors. But it worked out good. My dad had a good, your grandpa had a good way to make it work.
Is that really why he did it?
Yes, that is exactly why he did it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, that's a true story. Because Grandpa's like, you know, they're sitting there, I want them both to be out there, and if we tell the one he can't be there, then he's going to be upset. And, you know, so yeah, that was the reason we went to the auction. It seems like if you can get the kids involved when they're little and they're having fun, you're like, here, driving the tractors, you know, like, hey, this is my tractor, I'm running, it just makes them want to get out there. And
I think a big thing too was, you never told us to do something you never did yourself. So, you know, it's just a good example if you're like, hey, you guys want to come help out on the farm today? And that's what you went and did. It's not like, hey, you guys want to come help on the farm, and then you went fishing.
Right.
And so, you know, that was always kind of nice.
I know when the kids were little too, we had, you know, different people around concerned, you know, are you guys training them right? Are you teaching them? We always had them out in safe places. We were always in the same field and stuff. But I think the number one thing we always told them when they're out in the field and stuff, if anything went wrong with the tractor, whatever, and they didn't know what was going on, turn the key off, shut it off. That's, you know, make it stop. And that's never to yell at them, never make them nervous if something broke, because then they're on edge all the time. If it's going to break on them, chances are it's going to break on me.
I watched Cooper run right through the side of the big machine shed one time with the 4-wheel-drive tractor. Grandpa just looked at the hole in the wall and put plywood over it.
I think we did.
It doesn't mean we didn't get scolded. Never got screamed at, but you'd get a stern talking to sometimes.
But once we had the little talking to, we didn't dwell on it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
2 weeks from now, we didn't like, Cole, you bent the front wheel or something, you know. Once it happened, you know, we'd have a talk maybe what happened and stuff. And it was done. I think we were really good about that.
Like the other day, Dad left a cinder block outside of his house up by the garage, and he's pushing around with the skid loader, and he ended up catching his garage door with it and put a nice rip in the tin on the outside so you can see the styrofoam on the inside of the door. And, you know, I had to sit him down, get him across the old knee with the old switch, gave him a couple switchings, and, you know, I took his head and rubbed his nose in it and said no, and, you know, we're not going to have that problem again. He's going to put the cinder block away next time.
When you came in the house and told me that, I thought, are you kidding me? And I thought you were joking. But then I remember, yeah, it happened. So, and that's the thing, you know, things can happen to us. So you don't want to always jump at the other one because they're going to be right. Yeah, you do it too. That is my 5 professional Daddy Cornstar advice. And just remember, I'm not really a professional. I'm the stunt man and kind of telling you what kind of we've done and stuff. But I do want to thank you guys. This is the end of the video.